Hey Storm fans, Bryant here. Today we're playing Paradoxical Outcome without Underworld Breach. I know that I've been a big advocate of the hybrid list the last month or so, probably a few months at this point, but I saw a list that I liked and I put my own spin on it. Basically, it was this deck in front of you, but with white instead of black. I think that the black cards are significantly better than the white cards, if I'm being honest. Especially when you're not allowed to play Monastery Mentor due to Lurrus of the Dream Den. I get that Caracas helps cast Lurrus. That's still true here. That said, I don't think Lavinia is actually that good in the metagame. It's pretty bad against the bug decks, which is the reason to play white, is that you get Lavinia. It's bad against the bug decks, and it's not very good against Breach. Breach doesn't... it's tough because like eventually they want to remove Lavinia, but they're a deck that plays 16 lands, a lot of removal spells. Like it's just not that good. I think that the black cards here give you a better way of winning. So the idea behind this deck list is that you're making Mox Opal a significantly better card. You have a main deck Soul Guide and 2 Bauble to bring your artifact count up. I believe that this list has 19 artifacts in it, which is pretty high. I could count them out right now, but I think it's 19. It could be 18. I did some tinkering. I wanted to get another blue card into the list, so I cut Urza's Bauble. This list has exactly 20 blue cards main, which is pretty low. So when you're running 20 artifacts or 18, 19 in that range, something has to give. And in this list, we lost a Preordain. So I put a lot of thought into this list because I want it to be good. And you end up either cutting cards that are really good. So, like, I guess you could cut Whispers. Like, those could become Preordains. But when you're turning Mox Opal into a better card, Whispers value goes through the roof. And that makes it really difficult. Like, you don't have to run the Seal of Fire. This could become a Cyborg card, and you could fit another Preordain there. That said, I've had some situations where the main deck Seal of Fire is bananas. So, yeah, the idea mainly here is that we're making outcome better by having more artifacts in the deck to turn on opals. You can also pick these up and put them down. Just more permanents. Like you're just making outcome a better card. You have Lurrus against the blue decks to help you grind value. There's just a lot of things that I like going on. I considered making the straight blue-black. You would lose the Pyroblast and Seal of Fire, but I think the big thing is you lose Sprite Dragon. With the return of Bug, Sprite Dragon's value has gone through the roof, because this card has always been very good against Bug. The issue is that, I guess I shouldn't say an issue. A benefit of running Sprite Dragon is that Pyroblast has finally started to trickle down a little bit. So you don't really want this card against Xerox or Breach, in my opinion. Like I don't board this card in those matchups. It's not what it's for. It's mostly for Bug and Prison decks. Yeah, I did have a Breach in the Snapcaster slot for a challenge I played. But once again, the blue count was sort of an issue, and that's just my biggest fear with this deck is that your blue count's kind of low. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you think I'm just being paranoid, but I don't think I am. I've also considered a 4th Opal and another Urza's Bauble and taking out a land, going down to 12 lands, because this deck, it's just really optimized, and I think with Opal being more active, you can probably shave a land. So it's just something I've considered. Yeah, but this is just PO. Like everyone's seen PO before. I don't want to ramble on too much about this. I'm just interested in playing Magic tonight. So if you're unaware, I have started doing donation decks. So Vintage fans, if you want me to play your combo deck, it must be a combo deck, in a Vintage League for this YouTube channel, make sure to check out theepicstorm.com/donation decks. There's 3 different tiers. You can even join me for the 3rd tier. You can come on, you can talk with me. There's a few examples here on the channel. Yeah. So without further ado, let's hop into round number 1. All right. Welcome to round 1 of this league. We are on the play. All right. Our opponent was last seen playing humans, which is kind of a bad matchup for us. I think we're going to need to get a little bit lucky in order to win. Sure. Alright, so I realistically don't want to pitch this brainstorm because I think we're going to need it in order to win. Like, Young Must Will is fine, it's just not really a card that I see being good enough against humans. It's just a little bit slow, but hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and they're not playing humans. Alright, they are. They're just pausing for a really long time. So we're supposed to let this resolve. Only because if I force it, I'm losing 2. And ultimately, this doesn't matter. If I draw the Seal of Fire, I get that card straight back. I imagine here that they take Brainstorm. These sort of matchups are oddly very difficult in Vintage, I feel like. No matter what PO Breach variant I'm playing, like the mono white hate bear stack humans, they all end up being kind of tough. It's just that like the decks play Pyroblast and Mental Misstep and Fluster and all these cards that are just not good against a pile of creatures. Alright. Opponent's a little bit slow. Maybe bad internet connection. So we can hardcast Force on turn 2. Bad draw. We do have a Caracas in the main deck for Thalia. That's worth noting, on top of the Seal of Fire that I mentioned. I shouldn't have hit F6. If they play a Wasteland here, I'd look really stupid getting my Delta wasted. They also took the Yawgmoth's Will when I think that the right pick was the Force of Will. Like, that Will isn't doing anything. We don't even have a graveyard. Alright. Opponent is now moving to attack step. Vamp was an interesting draw. There's nothing like Tinker to go get in this list. We are playing Lurrus, so we do not have Tinker Citadel available. We could go get Ancestral, which is probably my plan here, which turns it into a glorified Night's Whisper line. But I don't know what else we're supposed to get. Alright, so we're going to fetch up C. We're going to get one land destroyed here either way. So we're going to get our C destroyed. Or they're going to wasteland the fetch land trying to get me to... Oh, no, I clicked the wrong land. That was a mistake. I did not mean to click on Volcanic there. Alright. We also have Mystic Remora, which is awful in this matchup. Like, the deck just has a lot of dead cards. So, like, a crazy person line would be to get Seal of Fire, and then immediately kill probably the Confidant, and then, like, try to Lurrus back over the long game, but I don't think I like that line. Especially when they have a wasteland and we have to predict what they're going to do with it. So I could have gotten punished there. I was supposed to play out the C so I could hardcast Force. I think that's actually the best line there. Demonic's an interesting draw. Could go Snapcaster Ancestral. I don't hate that. It's also a blocker. And if we draw a Mox here, I will be able to put Lurrus to hand. And we missed on the Mox. So I think it's actually best if they leave their Confidant back. And I say that because I don't actually want to block with the Snapcaster. I can't counter that, so yeah. They have Cavern, so... I think it's actually better to let the Mana Vault die. They might be doing us a favor here. Might be able to get this one. Who knows? We know that they have an unclaimed territory and 2 unknown cards in their hand. Don't really know what they're trying to do here. Oh, Containment Priest. That does not stop me from recasting Lurrus, or recasting Snapcaster with Lurrus. Mother of Runes, okay. Mother's actually kind of a pain. I think I would actually consider forcing the Mom. Their last card is Unclaimed Territory, I believe. And they made the wise choice of not swinging with any of these creatures because I would happily block with the Snapcaster Mage. Another land. So I could fetch to 7, play Monolith, and hardcast Force. We have a lot of live draws. We just need to find something. Or if for some reason our opponent decides to attack us, then I can block with Snapcaster or Flashback Demonic Tutor. Alright, so once again they have Unclaimed Territory, Aspirant, Silent Clearing. Yep. Getting pretty low. I'm going to sacrifice this mana vault. The Remora draw actually isn't very good, but it's at least storm count for this Tendrils. And I don't think we can actually win the game if we Tendrils here and then don't kill this freebooter at some point. Might as well hold the land, not show them that we just have a blank. Mayor of Averbrook is actually kind of an issue. Lavinia. Okay. I guess I could PO the Snapcaster back and then cast Tendrils. And they're wisely only attacking with the 2 flying creatures. Alright. I mean, technically Caracas bounces the Lavinia, I suppose. Come on, just let me draw a card. It's also kind of crazy that we're almost halfway through our deck, and I haven't seen a PO yet. Like, I don't know. We've been drawing a little bit poorly. Sure. I think they're only supposed to attack with the 2 flyers. Like, they just gave me a chance to win this now. Alright, so now we draw another land. Let's bounce the Thalia. I don't know if there is another land in the deck, so I don't know if I want to play these lands yet. I don't think there is. I think it's just the Volk that's in the graveyard. And I think I'm actually... Oh, no, I'd have exactly enough to PO here. So if I get Seal of Fire, I can kill the Mayor of Averbrook, but like that doesn't actually do a whole lot. I think I'm supposed to just get PO and PO for 4 and pray to get incredibly lucky. Ancestral's already gone. Well, that was what we call incredibly lucky. Like, that's what needed to happen. Alright, so now we PO again. I don't think I can... I don't know the rule on Lurrus. Like, I don't know if I can sack Lurrus, replay Lotus. Like, I don't know if it counts as a new card or not. I'm a little bit afraid to find out in this situation. I feel like maybe I should Google it. It says I can. I hope that you're not lying to me. Please do not be lying to me. And if that's the case, I think I'm supposed to bounce Lurrus every time, right? And now we just have Snapcaster Tendrils, so I think we win. Alright, so blue... Sack this for black. And Tendrils. Woot woot. Look at us. We won a game. That's actually quite the battle. We have 11 minutes on clock. It's pretty nuts. Alright, well, we have a bunch of dead cards. Let's see how many of them we can take out. We have a lot. We can definitely board in the Sprite Dragons. Bolt. I mean, Hurkyl's... They could have, like, Chalice or something in the board. I don't love it, but it's also a blue card that pitches to force at the bare minimum. Yeah, this is probably just what I'm going to run with. You could keep in the Soul Guides as artifacts for PO. In a pinch, they cantrip. Maybe that's better than Hurkyl's. Yeah, let's try that. Why not? And if you would like to support this content, you can do so by visiting theepicstorm.com/shop. You love seeing us beat humans. You can quench that thirst that you might have, which is what I'm about to do with an Epic Storm pint glass. Game number 2 on the draw against humans. I don't love this hand, but it is a turn 1 Sprite Dragon. And Dragon goes burr. They're mulliganing to 4. If we draw a Mox off the top, this hand goes turn 1 Dragon into Mox, Opal, cast Hurkyl's Recall, replay them all, and then you can Merchant Scroll for Ancestral, hypothetically, making like an 8/8 Dragon on turn 1. Alright, and our opponent has kept 4 cards. Noble Hierarch. A long pause here. Could be a Chalice. Nope. Okay. I think I'm supposed to fetch C. I don't love it because if we get hit by Wasteland, our hand falls apart, but casting Whisper on turn 2 is really desirable. And this is a game about the dragon. If this is a Thalia, we can upkeep Vamp for Caracas. Caracas gets a lot of value when you play black over white. Which seems crazy, but like you're just able to tutor for more powerful one-ups between Demonic and Vamp, where the whitelist is just playing Lavinia for the sake of playing Lavinia. You're taxing my Caracas. Alright, so we get to do the Hercules recall thing now. I'm going to float a black. They can... Oh, no, I did not mean to cast that. Whoops. Because now this can get hit by Mind Break, and I didn't want that too. I was actually okay with Merchant Scroll getting hit by Mind Break, but I wanted to keep my... Okay, well, it looks like it worked out, but... Could have been a problem. Love Dargan. They grew up so fast. So outside of having a Nuts Ancestral here, we are not killing the opponent. This is only 11 damage. Alright, so I suppose if we draw like Lotus 2 blue spells, we could win now. So close. Oh no, they paid 2 life with Misstep. I missed that. So this is actually lethal. Whoop whoop, dragon! This is swords? They paused like they were casting a spell. Alright, so we won match number 1 versus humans! Dragon showing up huge in game 2. We had a hell of a game in game number 1. Maybe our games after this will be just as good. I'm going to pretend that they're going to be, so don't go anywhere. More PO action is coming up. What's up? We're facing Alex Brown. We're on the draw, and I've kept a hand that has artifact mana. None of it makes blue, but we have this Urza's Bauble. I think that these are the sort of hands that you're sort of pressured into keeping with PO, and if you don't like these sort of hands, you probably shouldn't be playing the deck, if I'm being honest, but I'm here to jam. Let's see how it goes. We do have one black source at the moment, and we have this Lurrus. So this Bauble actually represents quite a few cards, assuming that we can draw an Opal or something else. Okay, Black Lotus. This could be Doomsday with the no Lurrus reveal. Two on top. That's a little bit scary. Always had it, clearly. I don't know why you doubted me. We were clearly going to draw a land. Am I crazy for not wanting these? Like, you can't snap back Ponder. I'm gonna ship. I would have much rather have had that. So now we have a PO next turn, which is pretty good. Think I'm gonna... So I could hold this Bauble. I think I'd rather draw a card, Dig Through Time. Oh, it's not really that descriptive, but they're playing a blue deck. If like we were facing some non-blue deck, I would have considered holding the Bauble. But interaction, wow, look how good that is. So now if we draw a blue card, we have double backup for our PO. Or if we draw a black source, I can Lurrus, Bauble, double draw, all that good stuff. could just be dead here, though. It's kind of a scary thought. I guess this could be DPS, but I don't know why anyone would play that deck. It's looking very Doomsday-ish to me. Sorry if you're a DPS player, but your deck's unplayable. It's just the sad truth. Like, DPS lives in this weird space where, like, you're not really good against the, like, prison decks of the format. Like, you're really good at beating Xerox, but, like, that's all you sort of have going for you. And you're just a dog to PO and Breach. Okay. Well, I guess it's better to outcome here because if they are on Doomsday, they have Fluster. I have to tap for a blue. That's how Magic works, right? Um, because if they want to Fluster this, they have to sack Lotus, and that's much better than them just tapping an Underground Sea. By floating the black here, we can also hypothetically cast Lurrus. Force Pitch Daze. Here comes Fluster. New Dig. Well, we can get some answers. Alright, well, they're definitely Doomsday. So I'm choosing here to take the Lurrus route because I think it will be more beneficial than just a single Night's Whisper. I should play my land. Alright, I'm just gonna fetch. I guess I get punished if I draw a Pyroblast here, but we didn't. Is there a good Demonic Consultation Dark? I guess you can name Ancestral, but that's like pretty dangerous. Were they hoping to deck themselves? Like, that's just a strange line to me. There's also two of them in there. I'm an aggro deck. So this is a spot. We know that they have Horse Oracle, uh, where Mishras would be slightly better because we've already seen their entire hand, which normally doesn't happen, for what it's worth. But in general, I know it's crazy, and part of it, like you think, is me being budget like oriented, which is somewhat true because I don't really want to have to spend the ticket difference. But the truth is, if Mishra's was better, I would. I just think that Urza seeing an actual card in hand matters more in Vintage when you need to know if the last card in their hand is a Pyroblast or a Fluster or whatever. Yeah, and I'm sort of flooding out a little bit. Mystical. I imagine they're getting Doomsday, and I'm just going to fluster it. Yep. And we drew a card with text on it. So I'm going to cast this in response because they could always force this on the end step. Well, I guess they can force it to rig it anyway. And if that's the case, maybe I'll let Doomsday resolve. And I just get PO or something. Or Yogwell. Yogwell seems really good. Yeah, let's get Yogwell. You can have your Doomsday. Alright, so now we attack. They go to 1. They can't even cast Force of Will anymore. We know the cards left in their hand. I could have played Vamp there, but... Oh, this is a much better kill. Who needs Tendrils when you have Seal of Fire? Boom! Just like we drew it up. Okay, so let's bring in these Flusters. Get rid of this Herx. I don't love Soul Guy, but I don't know if there's anything better. Alright, call me crazy. I'm going to board in Dragons. There are blue cards that pitch to Force. They're also a win con. They can kill them out of nowhere. All good stuff to me. Alright, and I'm going to submit that. We're going into game number 2 against the Doomsday. Not a keep. Yeah. Seems great to me. Did our opponent just pass without a land drop? Preordain? Okay, I like the jet draw. Looks like an Ancestral now that I've tapped my Volk. Not out of this yet. A daze here would actually be pretty embarrassing. I'm not going to pay for the Remora on my next upkeep. Instead, I think we're going to try to force through a Youngmost Will, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Alright, so that was decent. I know that I could hold a land here, but if I'm trying to resolve Yogwell, I sort of want the backup. And if Ancestral resolved, I'm willing to bet that they didn't have anything else. Need to get a little bit lucky on this Ancestral for this to win the game, but I figured it can't hurt. Wow. And there we go. That's how you get lucky against Doomsday, apparently. So now we're 2-0. 3 rounds left to go with Lurrus, Grixis, PO. Stay tuned. Okay, round number 3. We're on the Plagueins Viceroy. I faced them a number of times. I didn't bother looking up their Goldfish history, but every time I've faced this person, they are on Dredge. We do have a main deck Soul Guide Lantern, but in general, I think this matchup isn't as good as it could be. And we've opened on the Soul Guide, but they're not playing Dredge. I think I'm going to keep this hand anyway. And our opponent is going to mulligan to 5. My current plan is fetch for C, play Soul Ring, play Guide, turn 2 Demonic for Ancestral. I could also hold Soul Guide. I don't necessarily need to play it out. Like, the Lurrus deck isn't playing... It's not Dredge, so I guess I don't need to play Soul Guide. Because I might want that land for Yawgmoth's Will. And they were thinking a long time on this Demonic Tutor. So if I had to guess, this is probably Breach. We're in an interesting spot right now because our hand doesn't really do a whole lot. If I drew a Mox, I would consider casting PO, but it's not like a play I'm in love with either. Oh yeah, they're definitely on Breach. Hmm. All right, now we top again. We're going to draw the Bauble, keeping Tendrils. We don't actually want to draw Tendrils. We do want to draw the Force on top, so that way we have double backup if they try to kill us. If they want to exile or Bauble, sure. Like, that's not the biggest issue. We're going to upkeep top because we don't really want to draw Tendrils. And my gut says that I'm supposed to tap the Soul Ring, leave open the blue. And I will take a shuffle effect. So I think I want to get the other C here so I can actually cast Lurrus. Black Lotus card's pretty good, huh? They have 4 in hand. I have to imagine that they're probably going to use this card in response so that way I don't get to bobble for free, but I could be wrong. So I have a choice to make. I can play Lotus, sack Lotus, PO, and I have a blue card on top. Do I want to fight over that? I don't think so. So if I force... I don't know, I kind of feel like this might be a good spot too. But like, if I'm just patient, I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, I'm just going to be patient. So what I could do is I could go sacrifice Black Lotus, Yawgmoth's Will, replay Lotus, play Lurrus, but then I don't get to cast Lotus off of Lurrus because Lotus gets exiled to Yawgmoth's Will. So I think I'm actually just going to top and pass. So if they have another Pyroblast, this could be bad. Looks like they do. All right. So there's no point to me playing top. Just because like I know like it's not changing anything and I have to sack a Lotus to cast my PO then. We have a Volk on top and 2 unknowns. Oh, I guess we had the seal. That's my bad. It's like a little bit crazy, but part of me just wants to use the soul guide Like, I could die to, like, Breach, Brain Freeze, Lotus, or whatever, but it seems pretty unlikely. Like, they have 3 cards. If it's, like, Breach, Brain Freeze... I'm trying to plan for my next turn right now. So I don't think I'm supposed to upkeep top because Soul Ring C represents Will, Volk for Pyroblast, and then I have C Lotus for PO. And like that leaves me with a PO for 2, which is kind of weak. I wonder if I'm supposed to try to pick off the dragon with the Seal of Fire. Fuck it. We have Fluster for Force. I wonder if I'm supposed to try to PO here. So I can play the Soul Guide, remove Preordain, PO for 4. It does mean that my Lotus gets exiled. One thing I could do, let's undo. Am I able to undo that? Is I could add red here, and I think that might actually be better. And then I use a blue from here, because then I can replay the Seal of Fire if I draw blanks. And if they have Pyroblast, I have Fluster. So we're going to draw 4 off this, and they have a random land in their hand. All right. I feel like we're in a pretty good spot here. Our Lurrus, I believe, is gone for good with that Yawgmoth's Will turn. We have no way of getting back our Lurrus. Opponent should put theirs to their hand, and they didn't. That's a pretty good card. I think I'm just going to pass. I don't need to get too hasty. And they remembered about Lurrus this time. There's the land that we knew about. Top. Now we vamp. Probably getting a PO. Yep. Actually, do I want to draw? It doesn't make a difference. Never mind. Nice thing about Seal of Fire, by the way, is that you can pick it up with PO. And you might be wondering, like, why not run a Pirate Spellbomb? And I meant to cover this in the intro. Pirate Spellbomb is an artifact, which works with our Mox Opals and, you know, all that good stuff. You know what does Seal of Fire answer that Pirate Spellbomb can't? I'm going to spoil it for you. It's Collector Roof, which is the card that we actually care about the most. So that is why we run Seal of Fire over Pirate Spellbomb. Because otherwise, I do think that Spellbomb is better. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. Alright, now we're going to draw 4 again. The Ancestral card's pretty good. Merchant Scroll. What do we do here? Blackman is probably a bottleneck. I don't know if I want to tap that. Be nice if I drew that Academy card. 18 cards left in our deck. So 4, 5, 6. I can Snapcaster PO. But I have to play my land. It's probably worth it. I was just trying to think if, what is it called? Merchant Scroll is better, and it's not because this Snapcaster will draw me another card. So now we float blue here. And we turn these opals into lotus petals. And there's our win con. So now we just have to play out our artifacts. Easy peasy. Sometimes I just wonder why I don't run Grape Shot and I even bother with Tendrils. Because Grape Shot kills like Collector Roof and stuff, but Tendrils technically needs less Storm, but by the time that we can cast Tendrils most of the time, a ham sandwich would have sufficed. Alright, so we won game number 1 against Breach. They did mull the 5, so they were playing a little short-handed. What turn was that? It's pretty late. Turn 9. Turn 10. It's the last turn that I track in the spreadsheet. After that, it just says 10 plus. All right, sorry about that. We definitely want the soul guy. We want these Flustas. Lovely, good Flusta. I don't actually like Remora, which seems crazy, but they run the full playset of Pyroblast, and it's not really a speed thing. I guess, like, in theory, you could have it over the Seal of Fire, but this hits Lavinia. I don't know. I think that fire's just slightly better. Yeah, let's try this. And if you haven't picked one up already, I highly recommend the token pack for $12. 12 whole dollars, that's it. You get 54 tokens. 20 storm, 10 black, 10 red, 6 blue, 3 of the rest. You get 54 goblin tokens. They're all on the back. You get 6 of each. And they're mini. They're half the size of a standard Magic the Gathering card. You can get those at theepicstorm.com/shop. All right, I'm incredibly greedy. I want to keep this. All right, we're going to draw Tolarian Academy, and it's going to be delightful. I would also take, actually even better than Academy, honestly, would be if we could just draw Mana Vault. Very close. Seal of Fire is a close second. And I'm not going to play the Seal of Fire. I could, but I want to try to top for a land. One on top, one on the bottom. Sol Ring's decent. No need to try to like jam too early, in my opinion. So we have a force on top. Ideally, we would top into another blue card, and then we could set up PO with double backup. Three cards. Emerald. That's actually good for us. Oh no! Oh no! I just punted. I thought that I tapped Opal. Oh, shit. I'm just going to double down on my mistake now. Alright. They're going to Pyro, we're going to Force. And then we have to flop top to try to find a second blue card. I can't believe I messed that up. That probably just cost me this game. I just, like, in my head, I had tapped Opal. Alright, so they have Force here. Have to get lucky. Disappointed in myself. Now they go get Ancestral. Oh. Alright. No point in dwelling on it. I should just focus on trying to win. Alright, we can hardcast Force via the Academy now. I don't know if that's going to be good enough, but that's what we have. I just don't think there's any point in trying to counter that. That's not a winning strategy. That was good. Alright, they have 3 cards. Wait, did I? Oh, I didn't tap. I was supposed to target my Seal of Fire. That was a mistake. Left and right. Alright, this Seal of Fire should have drawn me an extra card, but I am not playing at my best right now. Luckily for us, that PO resolved, which I think means good things, but once again, one step at a time. Alright, so we have a little bit of wiggle room here, and because of that, I'm going to try to get ahead. I'm going to cast this Whisper looking for more artifacts. I want this other PO to close the door. We haven't played a land yet, so I'm going to brainstorm, get rid of 2 of these lands. And now we have exactly 4 mana. If our opponent has a Daze, this is actually kind of an issue. I could Preordain, but then it shuts this off PO. We'd have to hit Mana Crypt, Lotus, or Mana Vault in 36 cards. I'm just going to PO. Alright, we got away with it. Right now I only have 1 black source, so I can't actually cast this Tendrils yet, but we'll get there. So what we're going to do is we're going to float a block off Opal, and then we're going to cast PO, pick everything up again, and then cast it off the next one. I could play out top or Seal of Fire. I just don't need to. Alright, so I didn't play that well this round, but we still got the win. So that's going to advance us up to 3-0. So this deck is so good that you can suck at playing Magic and still win. That's what I'm trying to say here. We're 3-0, 2 rounds left to go. Let's get this fucking 5-0. Alright, round number 4. We are on the play against Vigilante 8. Yeah. Reveal our Lurrus. No companion for them. This hand is decent. Yeah, it's fine. Could be better. Let's pop out Lurrus. So the issue that I have with this hand is that the Hurkyl's Recall is dead in every non-blue matchup. The Misstep and Pyroblast are dead in every Hurkyl's matchup. So, like, it's a little awkward regardless. And then you have Yawgmoth's Will that is just, like, kind of clunky here because you don't actually have anything to fuel the graveyard. So really, you're keeping the hand based on these 3 cards and hoping that these somehow gain relevance over the course of the game. It's not perfect, but I think it's probably fine. Our opponent is mulligan to 6. It's worth noting our opponent has absolutely 0 history of playing Vintage. All of their stuff is Penny Dreadful with Astral Slide. And not to be mean to anyone that's never played Vintage before, but I just sort of assume that anyone who's never played Vintage before picks up Mishra's Workshop. So we're going to see how wrong I am. Still waiting on the opponent. Okay. Opponent finally kept 6. That's unfortunate. And I stacked the top wrong. I could have Force on top of my deck right now. It's my own fault. Well, I can bury this probe that I put on top. And I guess I wasn't wrong about everyone who's never played Vintage before plays this. I hope this Mana Crypt kills them. Because I'm pretty far away from doing it myself. They won the flip. Alright, so we would be drawing probe here, so let's try to top into a land. No land. I guess we could Hercules them, but we're not doing anything if we cast Hercules, so I think we want to find something else before we cast this. I lost the flip on Mana Crypt here. So they have Caracas and 2 unknowns. I hate this card so much. Everyone who watches my content knows it. I can never beat it. Alright, so we lost game number 1. It's our first game loss of the day. Can't talk of the day. Might as well bring in these Hercs. Bring in the Dragons. I don't know if I like Bolt against this version. Like, I don't know for sure that they're not... what is it called? Ravager Shops, but Golos usually isn't in it. I could be wrong. This misstep technically stops like Cage. And if you're short on cards, it's not the worst. It's also a blue card for Force. So it's like Misstep or Lightning Bolt would you rather have in your deck? I think I'm just going to submit this. Summer's coming up. I highly recommend the baseball tee from theepicstorm.com. And it's super light. It's comfortable. Feels great. I wear it all the time in the summer. It's perfect. See what Dustin Culbertson had to say. Game 2, we're on the play against Shops. Golos specifically. No Tinker Blight Steel this time. This hand's great. We're going to try this. We're a mana short of casting PO on turn 1. So if we draw a Mox off this probe, we could do it then. This is another awkward situation where Mishra's is slightly better than Urza's, because we drew the one of probe. I think in almost every other scenario, I like Mishra. I'm sorry, I like Urza's Bauble more. But I guess if you're gonna open on probe every game, one is strictly better than the other. And we are once again waiting on the opponent to make a mulligan decision. I suppose while we wait, if you haven't done so already, consider joining the Epic Storm community across multiple social media networks. You can find all of these links in the description below. I highly recommend interacting with us. The Storm community is terrific, and you won't regret it. So once again, you can find those links in the description. Okay, so we're on the play. I should pop that out. Let's start off with a probe. So they have turn one Revoker. I almost think that like maybe I don't play anything then if they're trying to make them guess with Revoker. Assuming that I don't draw a Mox here. Okay. Whisper is good enough for me to allow Soul Rain to get Revokered. We also have Stone Coil, so that makes Dragon a little bit worse. And I am not going to pop the Bauble. I want to be able to cast PO for an extra card next turn, and I think that's just worth a little bit more. Alright, so we're waiting on the opponent here. I would suspect that they just go like Mishra's Workshop Revoker, but I could be wrong. Alright, so they drew Mana Vault. That gives them a turn one Golos. I imagine that they named Soul Ring here, but I could be wrong. Urza's Bauble. Okay. Alright, hold control on this and let's fire off this PO. So this Hercules will actually make mana for us, which is kind of nice. Alright, so let's draw a card here and then Hercules ourselves. Just going through the motions. Now we are going to PO again. And I'm being very conscious of not playing my land in case we draw Academy. So that's part of the reason that I'm not casting these cantrips first, because I want to keep my mana options open. Alright, so I can use Hercules here to draw a few cards and make a few mana. So I could cast Will at this point. It's probably not an awful idea. But we also have triple Opal. I wonder if I can just like vamp for Tendrils at this point, and I believe I can. I might have been able to do it sooner. I'm not entirely sure. But I think there's a reasonable shot. So let's just get the Tendrils. Preordain. And Tendies. Alright, so we took game number 2 from Golos. We're going into game 3 on the draw. Let's see if we can steal it. So we saw Ravager and whatever it's called, Stone Coil. So I think I'm going to board in the bolts. Get rid of these needles. And is Seal of Fire better than like a Night's Whisper? I'm not entirely sure. It does kill a Revoker, which I like. It's not great against Stone Coil. Part of me thinks that a Night's Whisper might be better. I think I'm just going to do the 2 bolts. Alright, so this is a situation where Night's Whisper is considerably better than a Seal of Fire, because this, you know, obviously advances our game plan. We have a turn 1 Whisper and turn 1 Force. Alright. See what we can do. Our opponent is mulligan to 6 at this point. Okay, game 3 for the marbles. I think I'm going to fetch the island out of my deck now. Well, we don't have a whole lot going on other than this Lurrus, so hopefully it's enough. They're down to 2 cards. We do not have force backup this turn. It's been so long since I've done turn 1 Lotus, Lurrus Lotus. I mean, I've done it in the last calendar year, but, you know, a year ago feels like 7. I'm fine with that. Oh, that card's pretty good, huh? Let's attack. Attacking's free. Likely not playing a dragon this turn. All right. Oops. Float a black with this jet so that way we can recast Lurrus, Lotus, Lurrus. Well, while I'm like feeling good about this game, we have not won it yet, and I'm just emphasizing that because like it's important to never get too cocky. I would love another PO. Okay, and there's the Tendrils. We are now even for our opponent playing that despicable card against us in game 1. Yeah. Our opponent said good games. Our opponent's a very nice person, by the way. They let me know who they were mid-match. They donated for me to play a deck next week on stream, so they you can thank them. Their name is Vito. For White, the Epic Storm, bringing back Silence from the Dead. So thank you to Vito. We're playing for 5-0 next. You better not be going anywhere because I think we're going to get it. Are you ready to get this 5-0? Because I am. Last match, we're on the play. Great sign for us. I have no clue what our opponent's playing. We're just going to try to get it. Have to ship. No, this is a much better hand. So I know that this isn't the best use, but I guess I could do the Lurrus thing. I'm going to try to resolve Ancestral. This deck does feel a little bit, admittedly, underwhelming in a few places, and it's the fact that you're lacking a Tinker and a Breach, just like when you open up some really powerful hands. That said, this deck list is so much more synergistic, and I think that might outweigh some of the more powerful starts, just because, like, Pio is a much stronger card in this sort of list. I mean, the Crocus was decent. I think I'm going to get rid of the Opal. Alright, we have to pass. But we have a decent hand, assuming we're facing a blue deck. Shops. Alright, a little awkward. I think I'm going to let that go. Where's Sealifari when you need it? Alright. Our draw did not line up well with what our opponent's doing. I have a feeling we're about to get buried. I mean, I'm not sure what we can even draw. Like, we have Brainstorm and Ancestral gone. Like, Lotus, I mean, not Lotus, Yogwell would obviously be very good, but we're close to death here. Like, we are dead if our opponent has another creature in hand. Yeah. Our draw did not align well. Wow. We just did nothing this game. Opponent came out of the gate and we got punished. Like, I can't imagine what they would have in hand with 5 cards that we just don't lose. Already setting up the spreadsheet for the next game if they can resolve their spell that kills me. What are you doing? So I like dragons. Get these cards out of here. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do for this second game. Obviously, that didn't look great, but one game at a time. Sure. Not the best hand, but it's serviceable. Our opponent kept 7, so I have to imagine that they have a reasonably good hand. Interesting that they didn't name top. Another Revoker, Wasteland. Hmm. I have to imagine that this is a Revoker into Ravager, but I could be wrong. Really? Okay. Hmm. Let's set them back a little bit. I know that I have Probe in the graveyard with a Preordain on top. So I'm trying to dig deeper into my deck while hitting good cards, because if I hit a PO off the Preordain, we should be golden. So if I take the Vamp, I'm actually mana short. But I could put Lurrus to my hand. This is a spot where having Tinker would be really nice. Oh no, I meant to draw that. Whoops. I was actually going to draw the... Oh, I was going to cast Ancestral there. Oh, that sucks. There's the outcome, just 1 too deep. So we can cast that next turn. And for now, we'll put Lurrus to our hand. Not the end of the world. But I was trying to cast Ancestral there. It's like the third time this league where I've thought I'm doing something and I just don't. Like, my body's like, no, you're going to click on this other thing instead. Interesting. They chose not to play Ravager. I'm also fine with my Snapcaster dying when I'm holding a Lurrus. Draw 5. Alright, let's tap this for a black. Top is free to play when you have an academy in play. Hold control. You could choose to leave Lurrus in play there. I deliberately decided that I think a card is worth more than Lurrus being in play. Alright, and they've conceded. Yeah, we had a blue source, so we were going to cast another big PO there. So now we're going into game number 3. I'm just going to resubmit. Why not? Alright, and this game will decide if this is a 5-0 or not. And once again, if you're interested in me, Bryant Cook, playing your vintage combo deck, you can sign up at theepicstorm.com/donation decks. There's 3 different tiers. For the 3rd tier, you can even join me. So once again, that's theepicstorm.com/donation decks. All right. This is a solid hand. We're going to keep this. Top is a reasonable name. Wow, that's a good draw. So they could have Mind Break, but I don't think I'm supposed to play around that. I'm going to float a white here just because of Lurrus. It's pretty unlikely to matter, but you never know. All right, well, we didn't hit, but I can put Lurrus to my hand. I think that's a pretty good turn for us. Now, our opponent is like, all 3 games did not open on like a turn 1 locked piece like a sphere or anything like that. Beep, beep. I mean, honestly, this is not a bad plan. We have a Mana Crypt in play. We're taking 7 here. Depending on whether or not we lose the Crypt on Mana Crypt, it could be looking very bad for us. All right, well, we won the flip. That's step number 1. Cannot cast Bright Dragon. Ugh. A little awkward. What can I do about it, though? So I can definitely play Lurrus. I'm trying to figure out my other options. So this happens for 3, so that's 8 mana. I can Snapcaster into PO. And if they have a Mind Break, we do have Force. We'll have 2 floating, so I'm probably going to float a white for Pearl and a blue. Because I might need a Hercules them. Woot woot. So what can I do here? I imagine I can kill them with the dragons. So I'm just trying to think this through. So I can sack Lotus for red, play. I guess this isn't active. Well, I can also replay Lotus with Lurrus. I have to have a kill here. They're just pausing for the sake of pausing. All right, and our opponent conceded. I told them that I had a force for mind break. Like the point of them sitting there didn't matter. But we got the 5-0! Lurrus PO! How crazy is that? So let's look at the deck list one more time. You can see that I only have 4 tickets on my account right now. Have not been doing very well, generally speaking. I've been in a little bit of a slump. So glad to see that Grixis Lurrus broke us out. This is the deck list. I do think one weakness of this deck list is only 20 blue cards in the main. We have 18 or 19 artifacts, which made PO a lot stronger. You don't need supplemental cards like Underworld Breach. One thing you could experiment with is more baubles and no Night's Whispers. But in general, I think when your opals are better, that makes Night's Whisper better, so that way you can cast it more on turn 1. You could also try no red cards. You could just play straight blue-black. Up your Whispers, up your baubles, up your opals. But then you lose Dragon and Bolt. If you have any suggestions on this deck list, feel free to let me know. Obviously, it was perfect. We went 5-0. Couldn't improve at all. Yeah, that's sarcasm. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Take care, leave a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hey, Bryant here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.